Hi, shalom everyone. I'm going to continue the series of the famous Rabbonim of Yester, Year. And friends, we are in Iran at the moment. In Persia, it's a hilula of a great rabbi, Rabbi Yishmael HaKohen Z'tl, one of the great rabbis from Iran. He was born in English year 1851 in the month of April and passed away, or he was murdered in 1929 at the time of the cruel, terrible Arab riots when they rioted against the Jewish people in Israel in 1929, which was very, very widely documented at the point of time. He was a great rabbi. He would become a shluchei d'Rabbanan. He would become a rabbinic emissary, a part of the Tzfat contingent, the great holy city. He would become the Av Bet Din also there, the head of the Jewish court, and he will become the chief rabbi of an area called Batira, I believe that is in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, also, and was head rabbanim of many different places also, and will become the chief Sephardi rabbi in Sfat also. Okay, so he was born in an area called Yazd. Yazd, I believe, is in the center part of Iran, if I'm not mistaken also, and this was in April 1851, in the month of Nisan, respectively. Came from great heritage. His father was Rav Pinchas HaKohen, and his mother was Rabbanit Rivka, and he happened to himself to be the Av Bet Din of the city itself. I believe in the year 1861, when he was about 10 years of age, they actually went on the way. He traveled with his father to the land of Israel. Unfortunately, I think at that point in time, his father had passed away around that period of time, and then I think he went to live with his uncle in an area called Aja, and then he would actually move to Baghdad, if I'm not mistaken, in Iraq over there. And at the age of 18 years of old, he actually learned in the famous yeshiva of וחכם Yosef Chaim in Baghdad. This was very, very great because there was many great Talmidim there, and it was top learning of Torah at that stage in time. And I believe in the year 1871, he finally moved to Eretz Yisrael. He was about 20 years of age, and he dwelt in the area of Tzfat. In the year 1873, he would get married to his wife, Rabbanit Sarah over there. She happens to actually be the daughter of a great rabbi, Rabbi Moshe HaKohen Nahar, if I'm not mistaken. Also, he himself, I think, was a rabbi of the area of Batira in Turkey also. And they happened to be descendants of the famous Rabbi Avram Pelagi, one of the great rabbis of Turkey, respectively, also over there, which has to be pointed out also. And I think at that point in time, he was actually he was actually part of the Talmudim of Rabbi Yaakov HaKohen Z'tl, also, who is another great rabbi we have mentioned about in previous times also. In the year 1876, he was around 25 years of age. He was part of the Chaver Bet Din also of the Ida Hasfardit in Tzfat, part of the Jewish court of the Sephardi court in Tzfat, one of the four holy cities in Israel. And he actually would represent Tzfat, raising funds, and travel as a shada. We called it a shluchei d'Rabbanan, representing, trying to not just raise funds for the respective area or itself. Wherever he would travel, he would strengthen those communities also, and teach Torah, give lectures, and very much be a powerful influence in many of the different places. He traveled to Morocco, he traveled to Tunisia, to Algeria, to Libya, also to India, and to Egypt also respectively. And then he would return to Tzfat in the year 1900 after spending a significant time period traveling the northern African parts of the world also. And he was then appointed the Rashi Sephardi of the city, respectively, in Tzfat. Very, very great prominent position also. Unfortunately, there was some troubleships. I think his wife, Rabbanit Sarah, had passed away, and then he would get married to Rabbanit Rivka. I think she was also, I think, from the city of Idin, if I'm not mistaken. This is actually in Turkey. In the year 1906, he moved actually, I think, to Batira, which is actually near Izmir itself, and over there he would become the Chacham Bashi over there, the chief rabbi over there, and also the Av Bet Din, also the head of the Jewish court. And I think this is a position he would keep for 14 years, especially in Turkey, a very, very prominent position. Also, I think he actually switched with Rabbi Yeshua Vaish, if I'm not mistaken, at the part of the Av Bet Din of Tzfat at a later stage in time. Unfortunately, there was more troubleships. I think his second wife, Rabbanit Rivka, passed away also, and he would actually get married another time. Also, I think to the daughter of Rab Chaim David Tzur'eno, if I'm not mistaken, also. there was, unfortunately, I think his house was burned down at one stage in time when he was actually happened to be, I think, dwelling in Turkey, and he saw that as a sign, and many of it, I think some of his notes or Torah teachings and books had also unfortunately burned down. So he saw it that maybe this was a punishment for him that he left the land of Israel. So he quickly returned to Tzfat in the year 1919 and returned to his position as the head of the Bet Din over there, respectively, of the Eidah Sfaradit inside this city until, I believe, the year 1927. So that would have been an 8-year tenure. Many parts of his life, he was one of the great rabbis of his generations. Also, he answered many great she'elot of halacha on different specific matters. Also, over there, he actually had a correspondence with great rabbanim, including Rabbi Avraham Leib Zilberman and Rabbi Ephraim Shraga Vingot, if I'm not mistaken. Also, and he very much was a part of writing letters of within regards to dealing with halachic stipulations within regards to Kohanim. Can they actually go up and daven, say for example, in the kever of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai or not? He would actually investigate many of the different halachot within regards to that. Also, many of the Shluchei D'Rabbanan's she'elot and teshuvot he would actually answer within regards to his generation. Also, he had great connections with other great rabbis, including, I believe, Rabbi David Chai Ederi. Also, I think he actually printed in Tzfat in the year Hey Tafresh Pei Bet some of the letters that was written also of Rabbi Yishmael, also respectively. And it was on the 29th of August 1929 was a disgraceful Arab riots that actually took place in Israel, as very, very widely reported over at the time. There was huge anti-Semitism also in that time period in time, and I think he ended up, he was murdered at that point in time also, and I think his wife also, I think a few days later, succumbed to her wounds also from this disgraceful act of anti-Semitism that actually took place in Israel, which was obviously very, very widely spoken about, and I would recommend everyone to research within regards to that. They actually say he was studying Torah at the time when they actually injured him and his wife at that point in time, and unfortunately they succumbed to the wounds. He, a few hours later, and his wife was rushed, I think, to the hospital in Haifa, if I'm not mistaken, and died a few days later. This is actually, there's a display of the stand that the subjects he was actually studying, I believe, in a museum in Great Britain. So let's explore his personal life. Also, as we stated before, he got married 3 times. His first wife was Rabbanit Sarah, who happened to be the daughter of Rabbi Moshe HaKohen Nahar, who was also a very, very great rabbi, who we have spoken about, I believe, in previous times. He would then get married. She himself was, as we stated before, was a descendant of Rabbi Avram Pelagi. After that, he would marry to Rabbanit Rivka, or Rikuja, as they say, I believe, in Iraqi language, if I'm not mistaken. Also, she was from Turkey. After she passed away, he got married to the daughter of Rabbi Chaim Tzoir Leno, also who we mentioned before, also from part of Turkey. Also, among his descendants was great descendants also, including Dr. Dov HaKohen, which I think he himself was born in the year 1963, if I'm not mistaken. He himself is a prominent person, also as a doctor, and I think he was teaching in the Bar Ilan University also, if I'm not mistaken, had a very prominent role over there also. Now, within regards to the great works he wrote, a lot of manuscripts was written, and many of his Kiddushim and questions, let's just say, was actually printed among the great, in a book, among the great rabbis of his generation itself, especially the Sa'ish, if I'm not mistaken, also, and Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Elisha, in his Sefer of Moshe Ha'ish, also printed many of his novelties. I think also Rabbi Chaim Moshe Elisha in the Sefer of Bechorei Yaakov, and I think Rabbi Yaakov Chai Zriken also printed some of his teachings also. And here on Chaf Dalet Av marks the murder of his, when he was murdered in the year 1929. We're talking, this was 95 years ago from the time of recording, because obviously we're in 2024 now. He's one of the great students of Chacham Yosef Chaim from Baghdad, the famous Ben Ish Chai, also, and one of the great rabbis, well-traveled rabbis of the 19th century and the earliest 20th century also. So please don't forget to light candles in his memory, and please watch over all the previous videos we covered on the great Rabbanim of yesteryear. Wishing all a great day.